Welcome back to a whirlwind tour of visiting the White Mountains in gorgeous fall. In the previous video, we covered when to visit, what to wear, how to get to the White Mountains, getting around, and where to stay. Feel free and go back and view that video if you haven't already. And if you're enjoying the series, please like and subscribe. It would help small-time YouTube producers like myself out a lot. In part 2, we'll cover day 1 of the road trip, starting out in Lincoln and North Woodstock, and covering where to stay, what to do, what the best hikes are by skill level, and where to eat. This is Brew England, a channel dedicated to all things New England culture, adventures, and beer. Lincoln and North Woodstock are picturesque villages that act as a gateway to the White Mountains and make for a great base of operation exploring Franconia Notch and Kankamongas Highway. Franconia Notch is one of the most scenic areas in the entire Northeast, maybe the entire eastern U.S., flanked by Kinsman Ridge and Mount Cannon on one side and the iconic Franconia Ridge and Mount Lafayette on the other. Let's take a look at accommodations in the Lincoln-Woodstock area. This is meant to be more of a jumping off point. You might find prices higher or lower depending on when you end up booking. I'm using Google as a guide here, but feel free to use your booking platform of choice. On the higher end, you have a lot of great local resorts, including ones attached to the nearby Loon Mountain Ski Resort. This includes Riverwalk Resort, which starts at $352 a night. Up I-93, you also have Woodward's with rooms starting at $505, and Indian Head. For national chains, there's the Hampton Inn starting at $405 a night and Holiday Inn at $385 right in downtown Lincoln. For charming local inns, you might want to look at Woodstock Inn and Brewery, which I can personally recommend, and the Wilderness Inn Bread and Breakfast. There's not much in way of affordable accommodations. You have some motels which are almost as expensive as hotels. Looks like you're really not going to avoid spending at least $200 a night, probably more like $250. There's also the Notch Hostel, which is by far the cheapest option if you don't mind bunk-style accommodations in a shared space. This is a popular spot for Appalachian Trail thru hikers, though you probably won't encounter many of them this time of year. For camping, you have the Hancock Campground along the Conch and Lafayette Place in the heart of Franconia Notch. Just make sure your sleep system is rated for 4 seasons in case it drops below freezing. Right in Lincoln, you have the White Mountains Visitor Center, a good place to start your journey and learn more about what to do in the region. Additionally, you have the Flume Gorge Visitor Center and Franconia Notch State Park, which also has a small cafeteria. Here you can pay $21 to explore the breathtaking Flume Gorge, a short 2-mile loop hike through an absolutely stunning rock gorge featuring waterfalls, caves, a covered bridge, and pretty fall colors. The hike is friendly to almost all fitness levels. At Cannon Mountain Ski Resort, you can pay $28 to take the aerial tramway up to the top of the 4,080-foot summit with 360 views of Franconia Notch, Mount Lafayette, and Franconia Ridge, and all the way to New York on a clear day. If you want one of the most iconic views of fall foliage in the entire White Mountains, Artists Bluff is a must. The trail is only 1.5 miles long with just 436 feet of elevation gain, but the trail can get pretty rugged. Another great hike in Franconia State Park is the 3-mile round-trip hike to Lonesome Lake. The lake provides a stunning mirror to the surrounding mountains and trees laden with pretty leaves. At the far end is also one of the AMC's wilderness huts, bookable for overnight stays, bunk style, when in season. While the trail is pretty straightforward, there is 1,030 feet of elevation gain. If you're looking for something more difficult, look no further than Mount Lafayette. This is one of the best hikes in the eastern U.S. and is a highlight on many Appalachian Trail journeys. This 8.6-mile loop with 3,832 feet of elevation gain takes you over 3 peaks including Mount Lincoln, Little Haystack, and Mount Lafayette itself. With over a mile of hiking trail in the alpine zone above the tree line, you'll be transported to a completely different world with stunning 360-degree views. If you ever wanted to live out your Lord of the Rings fantasies, this is the hike you want to do. However, only attempt this hike if you have the proper gear and have checked the weather forecast. People have died up here on the ridgeline underestimating conditions and not being properly equipped. There's no shame in turning back. I've hiked this mountain 3 times now, each time more memorable than the last. Alternatively, Mt Moosilauke also offers stunning views above treeline. There's 2 main trails up the mountain, one easier than the other. The George Brook Loop is 6.9 miles with 2,444 feet of elevation gain, overall pretty gradual and easy. If you want more of a challenge, the Beaver Brook Trail is 7.9 miles with 3,185 feet of elevation gain and is considered one of the toughest stretches along the Appalachian Trail. The trail follows the Beaver Brook up the mountain at a steep grade, offering views of gorgeous waterfalls and cascades for most of the way up, and also features wood steps drilled into the rock. Just don't attempt this hike in wet conditions. There's lots of places to choose from in both Lincoln and North Woodstock. Some of my favorite restaurants include Woodstock Inn and Brewery, Angry Hog Barbecue, and Gypsy Cafe. There's also a Price Chopper in Lincoln for groceries. Littleton is one of the most picturesque towns in the White Mountains, famous for its covered bridge and old mill. Meanwhile, Crawford Notch is one of the most iconic places in the White Mountains, offering some of the best views around. Home to Mount Washington and the Cog Railroad, there's a plethora of hiking options as well. I'll cover this all and more in part 3 of the series.